Go over a little bit. Okay, everybody. So it's April 15th, otherwise known as that worst day, that day of the year when everybody has to pay Uncle Sam. Let me see what I'm going to pull up real quick. Let me go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and just pull up and kind of show you guys some stuff a little bit more, and this might help you a little bit too, Kevin, on this. On the we're going to do a working session tonight. So what I want to do is really kind of go over, what we have for a buy box and all. Everybody's got their different buy box, and it's pretty good. So we want to talk a little bit about. Let me just go ahead and just start there. Let me go ahead and go to core myself. So in core, you guys are going to, obviously you see the start page. You see start here, set up or update my buy box, change the RCI mode, and build my distress deal playbook. I may actually change the start here and just go ahead and use the setup or update my buy box. But just to show you guys what we want to do. And then I'm going to show you guys something cool in a minute. So what you guys see when you guys see that's where you want to go to, Kevin, when you and everybody, that when you start out, you want to basically go to your buy box setup, get your buy box, and you can copy the template. And people say, how do you copy the template? Well, just hit the copy, and then I go down into the box. Obviously, mine's the developer mode, so I got that orange around it. And then you go ahead and just put it in the, let's go ahead and make sure it's, and then just go ahead and copy and paste it. You can either copy and paste it, or you can hit this, just copy and paste, and then go enter it into it, and then fill it out, because it's going to ask you. So if you go with this, and you use this, and you just like copy and paste it into your box, then you can just fill it out. You can go ahead and just like almost copy it. Just be careful that you don't hit the enter. That's probably the fastest way to do it. And then you can just fill this out. Ask what your name is, markets, what city, county, zips. You want to enter that those PDFs that give you the market guide, and then your asset types, what you're looking into, your strategy, your price range, equity and discount requirement, condition tolerance, preferred distress signals, probate, eviction, foreclosure, tax code, with the timeline, what kind of timelines you like. And I mean, that also goes for how soon can you make a deal? Because what it'll do is
I may add one thing though, on the buy box is for mainly for Kevin, because I already know you know that. But Kevin, I've been through a few buy boxes and just trying to, at first I was kind of afraid of it because I thought it was going to be fixed forever and overruling everything, but it's very flexible. You can always change your buy box. It's something that you end up wanting to get it pretty close to what you need out of the world, but in the journey to get to that point is pretty flexible, and it's something that you can redo if didn't work out the first time.
Yeah. So what you can do is what I tell, not only do you enter, the best way to do it, I don't know how you did it, Curtis, is like I said, I just copy and paste it into the box and then fill it out. And it's the other thing you can do is you can actually, then once you do it, here's a structured example. And so it's going to kind of shows you what to do, what kind of information it's looking for. So it makes it pretty simple. And then obviously get down to the risk flags. Any good deal is not a buy box. Too many markets we can focus. Too many asset types create noisy lead intake. No minimum discount threshold usually leads to wasted outreach. No timeline or capital clarity. And today, Scott Mednick and I spent about an hour. We kind of figured out there's also a way you can do like a secondary buy box. What I also do, like I said, once you get your buy box here, it's all figured out right here. Paste this version, fill in the blanks, exactly what it says. But once you got it and you're about to hit enter, go ahead and run your mouse over to copy it, hit enter so it's good, but that way you've got it pasted, and go over here to projects. And I'm not going to actually open one, but I'm going to show you guys, just open primary, open a project that may say primary buy box. And then use that as your then you put your buy box in there. Then you'd go ahead and just paste your buy box in there. And that's good. That's a good place to do it because that'll run, keep it nice and safe and all that. And then the next project down would probably be my choice would be then do your markets. You're doing your markets in here. So obviously if you're, Detroit or if you're in somebody's in Houston or whatever, put their counties and their zip codes and stuff. Open that as the second one for the markets. And then you want to start, working your deal analysis tools. Pull comps is next. You want to do rehab and scope of work and market reality assessment. Put rehab and obviously rehab and scope of work. Put ARV after that, and you have separate boxes. That's a good way to do it because it just kind of keeps them in a stack, and that way you start with your buy box, and then you can just start entering because you guys know, like, if you go through the like we're doing the capital intelligence is our Wednesday nights, so you guys know you enter a project. Here's the project. Well, these projects now you've got chats on these projects, right? And that's a good way to do it. So, like I said, you want to keep your this is a chat. So here you got the project. The name is RCIC Capital Intelligence Room. This is actually what I call Wednesdays. What I have in the orange box, what you would have would be chats. So go ahead and run all of your, you want to run your basically your ARVs and all that in one instead of chats. The reason is you can start just working your way down. Now everybody says this kind of looks like it's manual labor a little bit. For the first 30 to 45 days, it is, but after that, it's going to become pretty. It's a lot of it's going to make sense. Then it's going to start, and that way you just kind of keep some separation. So, like I said, you want to go down buy box, you want to go down, markets, you want to go down and do your kind of work your way down. ARV it should be second to last before skip tracing. So in the middle, you got comps, rehab, scope of work, things like that. And then we'll get into capital passport and offer generation and all that. So it's pretty sweet that way. So it's kind of just a good way for everybody to kind of set up. Keep in mind also, anybody who wants to do agent mode, make sure you look for it in your system. Obviously, it's here for me, but I'm in developer mode. So it's in a different place here than it is on my personal account on my other laptop. But in agent mode, you're in agent mode when you got the blue agent. To get out of it, you just click on this X. And then, of course, you've got the apps. So here, the apps are different. You can connect more. You got the Gmail. You got Dropbox, Google Drive. You got, both Dropboxes. So you can connect to web search. But you can connect to more apps there. But what I would do is in agent mode, you want to tell it what it is. You are the distress, and I'm not going to type. I'm just going to type it. I'm not going to enter it. Intelligence Scout for the Detroit. This is what you'd probably want to put, Kevin. Detroit market. Your assignment, tell it what it is and what its assignment and what its job is to search the AHJs, aka counties, for foreclosure, filings, and information that can help comp and skip trace. Please report to me here, or send it to your, I talked about opening up a Gmail, because Gmail is free. Open up a free Gmail account. This is a good way to do it, like just to store it. And you set it up free. You have to set it first because you want to bring it to your, you want to obviously connect it to the Gmail app, which is in apps on your sidebar. And then when you're asked to connect it, it's going to ask for the login and password. Don't use your main, email. Set up like a free Gmail. That way I don't have to set anything up. So like I said, you want to tell it specifically what it is, what its assignment or job is, what you want it to do, all the what, where, when, and how, and all that. And then where you want the information to go. If you put it report to me, sometimes what'll happen is you can press it here and it'll start just pulling all the information right here pretty good, pretty quick. It pulls it up. Let me see if it has the one I did today, because Scott and I did one earlier.
Nate, how does it skip trace?
Well, so there's some information that a lot of people don't know, and I'm not saying that anybody here doesn't, but sometimes at the counties, like the list sellers, wholesalers, prop tech companies, they don't want people to really know that a lot of times you can go and get information. There's a couple different ways to do it at the county if it's there, and it should be there. One, I mean, process servers or the sheriff's deputies have to serve the paperwork, right? So they've got to put the paperwork into the system in most states. So you want to check your AHJ, Kevin, like your counties, to see what their process is, because in most counties that document should be in the filing. I just don't know how every jurisdiction's could be different. But if that process server or anybody had to serve a NED, a notice of election demand, or a NOD, or whatever it is in Michigan, or what in any other AHJ, that information where they served it has to be in that paperwork. So that there's an address there where that person gets served. More than likely, there's a phone number, because they would try to call them, in some cases. So there's a couple of places you can check that they don't want people to know. PropWire doesn't want people to know that, because they want to get people for that $119 a month subscription to skip trace 10,000 properties. So that's a good place to check. Another place to check is in the same AHJ. You might be checking the public trustee or the county clerk or something, but the other place to go in that same county is go back to that same county and ask for the building department, whoever issues the building permits. Why? Because there's a chance, it's an outside chance, but it's a chance that maybe there's a recent permit. If there's ever a permit, it's just a chance. It's just someone else to check. There's a few key areas that, like I said, nobody ever thinks about where you can skip trace. So that my whole thing is to get you down where you don't have to skip traces, use skip traces, any kind of paid service or extra service any other way. The other thing is you can also ask for it to do a general search on that property and the property owners. So it's kind of cool how to do that. Let me see if I can bring up one of mine. Let me go to my distress intelligence real quick. Okay. Can you visit the AHJ for Jefferson County, Colorado, dealing with foreclosures? Let's see if it goes.
What's the AHJ, Nate?
Authority having jurisdiction. So it is the county. It could be the county trustee, the public trustee, the clerk and recorder for the county. It could be the sheriff. In the courts, it's a probate court. Eviction, it would be another court. So it comes right out of code. So if you ever go look at the first maybe 5 pages of a code book like fire code or building code, it's actually in there. That's one of the first things, the authority having jurisdiction. When I was a county fire marshal and the fire chief, I was the authority having jurisdiction over the fire code, because that was my jurisdiction, just like in law enforcement, just like in this. So a court that has to deal with, here's a public trustee for Jefferson County, Colorado, and I'm going to try to show real quick. I'm going to see if I can get it to come up. So every county, when you're doing that market guide like I made you, when you're onboarding and you look at your markets, you might want to visit a few of your AHJs, your counties, and go see what their processes are, just to confirm it. Like here, it's telling me what I can do in my own county. The reason I'm going to show you this, I'm going to try to actually, let's see if I can bring it directly up. And anybody remind me if for some reason you lose this and you can't see it, let me go ahead. I have to move back to it, and sometimes so this is what I call off ramps. So this is my county, and obviously here, your county might be different, but I can go search foreclosures. In many counties, you can have 2 counties next to each other. They can be completely different just because of vendors. Like some vendors, like in my state, there's a couple of vendors that are different. So I'm just going to kind of show you one. I think if that property's still in there last week. So let me go ahead and I'm on that screen. I'm going to have to I have to move it around a little bit. Sometimes some people don't see it, everybody sees it. So in my county, and most places, guys, I see this a lot in a lot of counties around across the country, is this kind of box. So this is one vendor. I don't know how many vendors service these agencies. So obviously you can search like foreclosure, bar, current owner names, zip code, street address. Generally, though, if I want to do a general search, because what you want to do is do a few searches in your first like 30 days since you onboarded, just to train it so it knows what you're looking for. That way,
Mm.
you want to bring information back over to, and that's the on ramp. And so here, obviously, I've got my taskbar, and I'll just go right back to the Chat GPT to my RCIC. But here, I'm going to look at everything from March 1st to, let's say, yesterday in my county where I live. And it's going to show 51 records. So here you guys see there's the records. This is where you start to get the information. So your county might be the same thing. Obviously, there's some new ones since last week when we checked this. And I'm trying to find one property because I can show you guys what I found last week that'll kind of show you what I was just talking about. So let me see if I can recognize that property real quick, where I can find it. And this one's actually Evergreen where I live. Buffalo Park Estates is right up by the high school. Let me see. I'm trying to find one property to see if it's still there that I can. Oh yeah, let's see if this is. There's Eastman Place in Westgate. I have to go through a couple pages now. There's a couple more listings. So since last week. So I'm just trying to remember which property it was. If not, I'll just choose one. Let's say Solterra. Okay. So this is, you guys make sure you guys can see this foreclosure details. If you can't, let me know. I have to kind of go back and reopen it again. So in most places, you guys are going to get this. Nobody probably ever sees this because the seller's prop text, and I don't want people to know this far. They're going to give you guys whatever kind of information they give you when they try to send you your leads, however they try to send them to you. So this obviously is the current owner, right? And this is the subdivision, the address, and the legal description. There's documents. So the important documents that you guys want to look at is the NED. It may be different in your jurisdiction. You want to check with that county, that AHJ, and your market guides and all that when you set up everything. So whatever form that they use, whatever the name it is in that state, NED, NOD, list pendants if it's a judicial state, that's going to be your most important document. Obviously, there's some other ones. There's invoice because they have to pay the newspaper. CDOT in Colorado, you'll see because the Colorado Department of Transportation might have to be notified of some reason. Maybe there's an easement or something. So here's all your documentation. Here's the withdrawal screen. So obviously it hasn't been withdrawn. This is generally not going to ever be filled out. I don't think I've ever actually seen one of these. Here's the sale information. So the sale, it also talks about it, Super Credit Union, which is actually tied to King Supers and the Kroger stores in Colorado. Here's the sale information. Obviously, this won't be filled in until after July 2nd. The lienor information, if there's a second or third lien on it, that'll be information if there's a redemption for them. Publications. So they have to, almost every jurisdiction I know has to publicly advertise. And so here, knowing that Jefferson County is cheap, they're putting in the golden transcript because it's probably $8. And you can actually see that in the invoice, what it is. And I have to put it first publication, the second, you have to do it twice. Mailings, guess what? Here's a good area where you can skip trace, right? So a lot of times in here, you've got the homeowners. Obviously, you got the Holston Toronto is going to be a law firm, the Internal Revenue Service, and Pinnacle. But here is another place that if for some reason, and this isn't the right property that I saw last week, so I apologize for that. But generally, what they also had is they had the same homeowners. Not only would have been served at like Lupine Street in Lakewood, they were served also in Oregon. That's where they were actually serviced. So this is like the Lupine would be their home. This is, like I said, this isn't the same people. but they had another address with the same two names in Oregon. And when they went to it, it was where the process server finally was able to, where they got their they got their foreclosure paperwork. So guess what? When you're able to find that, you can then make it searchable. Plus, they had the process serving document in documents. So when you go to view documents, they will have the process serving paperwork, whatever they have, and that's current. And obviously, if somebody has signed that, which they're required to do, then you know they've at least gone to that address. Hopefully, their email address and their phone number is on there. Problem solved. There's no skip tracing. Here's another thing though. Hurley's the homeowner. Holst and Tarani is the law firm for the mortgage company. So here's another way to go. You can go to the mortgage company because you're gonna have all their information, but you're also a lot of times gonna have the law firm for the mortgage company. So why not go to the mortgage company directly or go to the lawyer and say you'd like to make an offer on that property? It's perfectly 100% legal to do. Here's the cure. There's no cure information. Now you get to your basics. So here's all your NED, all your information on the filings. You get the deed of trust, recorded date, 2017, the reception number. Here's the loan information, the HELOC, the original principal balance, the outstanding principal load, the outstanding principal balance date, what the interest rate is. It's really high. Fixed, the credit union, and here's the guarantors. So that's good information. Bankruptcy, obviously no bankruptcy, no temporary restraining orders. And then you get back to the address. So going back real quick, let me see if I can find that one that I found last week. I can narrow it down. I just have to do March, the entire month of March. So I skip over April. I'm gonna do it that way because I want to show you guys that property and where we found that at. I just gotta remember what property it is. So give me 1 second. I'll look at it real quick. Just because I don't remember actually the name of Brumble. That's it. I believe it was Brumble. Yeah, Brumble. So I want to bring up their information. And I do have their NED. Their NED is not coming up for some reason. But like I said, here's your foreclosure number. Here's your grantor. So I'm going to try a different way to go through it. Enrique Hernandez. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to get you there directly. And I'll just go back. Oh yeah, it's waiting. There's it looks like it's on Jefferson County's end. So yeah, in the Brumbles, they had an address in Oregon, and that's where the process server was. And so the process server paperwork was associated with that. So that took care of some of the skip tracing. There's obviously skip tracing war room has a lot more to do with that. Once you load that in there, you can load in a lot more resources. Realistically, having to pay for it is probably a last resort that I'm going to say. I haven't found that, so far, like Eric from who's Lulu in our group, as far as in the Facebook group and all that, he's turned up skip tracing using the war room prompt to a whole new level. Like he told me, it would blow me away with what he's able to do. That's kind of how you kind of look at that. So it's going to give you all the information when you go look at like Wayne County or something. You can put them in there. It's going to give you all the information. So when we talk about off ramps, when we off ramp, we're going to a county or we're going to somewhere. When we on ramp, I'm basically going back to on ramping back to RCIC, and usually it's right to my taskbar. That's kind of where you're gonna kind of want to look for that. You can also go to like all kinds of information. Let me see if I make sure everybody's here. Okay, cool. So that's kind of the information, guys, where you can go and find this information. And then here it goes. Here's the AHJ, the primary, Jefferson County Public Trustee. Here's the system type, non-judicial foreclosure, power of sale. Here's the supporting agencies, the clerk and recorder, the courts, and the sheriff situational, obviously for serving paperwork. So it's data fields available, cure amounts, bid sheets. So you can ask for this. you can actually ask it to go through. You could just copy and paste with your mouse all those listings as well, and just bring them back in here, enter it in the Ask Anything, or enter it and just have it run them according to your buy box. I don't have a specific buy box, so if I do that, it won't do anything. But you can copy and paste it and just put that whole list in there. A lot of jurisdictions have a PDF or a Word document you can just copy. I mean, you can just like download, and then you could just go enter that through the Ask Anything. So it's kind of what you want to do there when you're setting up all your information. Let me see. Wayne, can we visit Wayne County, Michigan? HJ foreclosure. Yep. So it's a little different. So like I said, Wayne County Sheriff foreclosure sales handles foreclosure auctions. But the civil division of the sheriff's office, and it'll run you through the process. And then you got the legal authority behind it, circuit court. Yeah,
Can't see your screen, Nate.
Yeah. Oh, let me do that. Sorry. Thanks for reminding me. Go to Jefferson County again. I don't want to Wayne. Let me go back real quick. Let me see. I only 1 second while I try to share. I gotta shut that one. Okay. So obviously this is your county, and I did that in the market guide for you with those 3 counties. So no court case required, foreclosure by advertisement. And so obviously they got Wayne County registered of deeds. It talks about the hidden power center. So you'll be able to get this just by when you onboard and you put your markets in, you could have it generate, you could even have it generate PDFs like the market guide I put together for it. It's kind of cool. So it gives you all the process. Let's see. Here's exact redemption timelines by property type, where the best data actually surfaces first, not Zillow, not even close, or how to underwrite Wayne County deals without stepping on title grenades. Is there a search box for Wayne County? Like search for searching. So like I said, yours will be in your market guide that I made for you though, Kevin. It's telling you kind of they usually use like the Detroit Legal News and some other ones. Most of these jurisdictions believe it go cheap. All they gotta do is put it somewhere that's a known publication locally. Like, in our town we have these small newspapers and stuff. So you can go in here and search, you can put in this Detroit Legal News. You can actually put it in yours. It's not a clean database. So it's like soup, but you could actually go in and have an agent monitor this. If there's another one for the other counties you gave me, you could actually add these, basically just take, go to it, add to it and find where it's located at, like a URL, put it in and you can have an agent monitor this, and they can search for foreclosure notices because they have to be put in there. Most states are 90 to 120 days, just 90 on the shallow end, and then like in Colorado, I think it's 110 days. So you just want to check on that, but you could actually just go ahead and put a lot of information in here in the Detroit Legal News. And you've got register of deeds, and you got list pendants, assignments, sheriff's deeds, mortgage defaults. So it's searchable. You can filter it through it by name, date, document type, raw filings. It's not labeled as this is a foreclosure deal. And you got a place where you get your tax foreclosures, the treasurer, and court records for judicial cases, for judicial foreclosures, Wayne County Circuit Court. So this will all be in your the market guide, so you can go in and pump all this in. But you won't find, like in some states, they may have a full dashboard of all the information. That's the only thing, is every state's different. That's why I try to generate a market guide to help everyone at least get started. And then if anybody's here wants one, let me know. Also, when you get your first like market guide, you put it in there. Later on, like if you want to expand counties, you can just enter it and ask RCIC to duplicate that and then put in the specific counties and in some cases zip codes. Because obviously, like in El Paso County, Colorado, or in Denver, believe it or not, you don't want to put theirs. But I'll go back to El Paso County, which is Colorado Springs. 80917, 80916 are next to each other. 80917 is a very modern, built in the last 15 years or so, very modern tract homes. And 80916 is a lot of older, 50 years old or older legacy properties. And more people tend to hang on to those longer because they have equity. They probably a lot of them are paid off, things like that. Whereas in the new one, people refinance. You're going to see that. Guys will actually see RCIC talking about, and I'm not going to bring it up because it's really slow. I got to actually recalibrate. But I get reports. I get 10 a week, and one of them I get in my state. It actually will go and tell me what counties are doing. It'll actually go through and tell you this county's seeing a lot of evictions. This county's seeing a lot of foreclosures. There's pressure. I mean, there was some ridiculous. I mean, I'm very surprised at the information that you're able to get. So once you guys get going and all that, you want to definitely try to get it to send you reports, like just your email. You get an email notification. You click on it. You guys will see it. I'll just point them out. I don't want to open them because they'll be slow. But you guys get down here. I get a top foreclosure opportunities this week. I get that every week. I get nationwide. I have some gaps data gaps because like you guys are going in specific. You be specific. You don't need to be going around the whole country unless you're doing like national wholesaling or something. So you're not going to have the data gaps that I do because I can't I still have 40 agents just like you. So I can't deploy all the agents I need. If I could deploy agents everywhere, I'd be pulling in a lot of listings for all of you and making them available. And I'd be sending it through First Pass on all the tools. So you got that Thursday market update. I'll actually see this on Thursday. I'll actually be able to show you guys this, or tomorrow. I'll get 4 of these tomorrow. Top 25 actionable opportunities listed. I get an end of week 7-day on Saturday distress roll up. So I get this every Saturday. This might be one. I think this is one I can open without it really being slow. So, okay, yeah, this is great. So I get this one every Saturday. You guys, I get a nationwide distress intelligence, 50 target markets, 6,513 zip codes. Let me try to see. Give me 1 second. Try to get her over here. Somebody hits me up to get in the group. Yeah, like I said, I get this report. I'll kind of blow it up. You guys can see kind of real quick, kind of what I get. There's some information that I can aggregate. I can combine all this stuff if I was able to actually, wasn't like you guys where I need to be like everywhere. If I'm going to be everywhere, I just monitor it and I get these kind of reports that kind of give me a clue. Like here's the counts by markets and stuff. There's actually one report where it literally tells me every market, it tells me everything that's going on in the top 25 markets, like evictions and foreclosures and all that. And it's pretty sweet. And so you guys can ask for the same things. And when you get to that point and you're ready for it, let me know and I'll give you a prompt for that. I'm trying to get somebody in here.
How are you getting nationwide stuff? Because I've been just trying to set up a search for Ohio and Michigan multifamily, and every time it tells me it's too broad, and I need to narrow it down to just a couple of zip codes.
It's been 6-7 months ago when I did it, and I wanted to go nationwide, and I asked for it. 6,513 zip codes is 50 markets. And it basically, I don't know, it started sending me all the stuff, but it can't send me what I was just saying. It doesn't send me all the specifics like I can in Colorado. If I run the one in Colorado, then I go all the way from Casper all the way down to Pueblo for like 15 counties. I literally can get all the information. It gives me the off ramps in all those cases. Here, you guys are, I mean, showing you right now what I'm able to get. So I'm not able to get all the specifics, but I know enough of where I can go, so it tells me, hey, this is going on. I can go there and visit it, go to those counties. So you're seeing exactly what I get. So it's not like I get specific. I don't get like lists and lists. I'm not, I'm trying not to get all that because I burned through all my agents and I need my agents to support all of you since I'm not actually, so it's just kind of a little bit of trying to explain that. I'm not sure if that was the right words, but let's I'm trying to get somebody in here real quick.
All right.
So give me 1 second. I'm trying to get her in. That kind of shows you how I'm trying to do that. Let's see. Cool. Sorry. So it tells me the spikes in the trend and like the zip level anomalies. It gives me eviction acceleration and rent stress corridors. I mean, like literally the prompts that I can, if you guys ask me, I can try to get some of the prompts. They're one of the persons that, like I said, is doing amazing is Eric, is Lulu, and I don't know if he's coming on tonight or not. Let's see if a couple of other people signed on. I don't see him, but I'm trying to get him to come on, explain something he did because he took my skip tracing prompt and a couple of my other prompts and like jacked them up, and he's like generating a ton of information. But you want to be, if you're going national, it's not going to be as easy as if you stay focused in a certain area. If you stay it's kind of like you are being too broad in a way. So I'm able to get a lot of stuff. Here's my aggregate CSV, and I can get a per market CSV and all that stuff. So I can actually, because they're CSVs, I can go ahead and save these and send them to you. But that's just one of the reports I get a week. And then let's see another one. See if I can pull up one or top. Because if I pull up the wrong one, it'll take like 10 minutes to load it. These are so loaded down because I've been obviously getting these reports for months. Trying to get one in Colorado where I can show it to you guys. But like I said, the big thing is like, you want to ask, let's see, this is going to be a minute. Yeah, this one's going to be a little slow. So you want to pretty much use the market guides. If you guys want me to develop one, if anybody needs one, let me know and I'll make one for you. Generally give me like 3 counties to start with, because like I said, after you get rocking and rolling, then you can just take those, their PDFs, input the PDF here and ask it to duplicate it. Okay, here's the one I'm telling you guys this is why you want to be a little bit better. This is my Colorado one. So when I get this every week, so here's my Colorado stress pipeline. I get this once a week, 7-day activity. It's telling me my county level activity. And it's telling me, it's got all my counties. It's telling me what's going on, probate, foreclosure, med sales. And it gives me kind of a per county what's going on. And it gives me for evictions, which are FED in Colorado, UD, unlawful detainer, is how it's also known. Overbid activity. Overbid is a great way to make a side hustle if you can help people. It's a little harder with people that are in foreclosure because they're going to feel like everybody's taking advantage of them. And in some states, you can charge only 10%. In some states, you can charge 40%. Some other states in Colorado, you cannot do that as a business for 2.5 years. You can, however, in a lot of states, work to help lienors, the second and third lien holders, recover their money. So surplus and overbid, let's say the lenders owed $100,000 and the bid comes in at 113 that buys the property. What do I do with the $13,000? The lender doesn't get that $13,000. The people that lost their home are entitled. It's their money, but the mortgage company is nobody's required to tell them that. So that $13,000 sits there in some state, and every state can be different. It can sit there for 3 months or 5 years. In my state, it's 6 months, and then it goes to the Secretary of State, and they hold it. They have a thing called Great Colorado Payback. All kinds of people owed money at banks and stuff. One time, I get like $1,400 from that. So the state treasurer holds on to it. But they're entitled to the money. So if they ask for it, there's a process. They get it. They can't tell them no. This also tells me what my key zips are in these counties. Jefferson County, which is where I live. Denver County, obviously Denver, Arapahoe County, Douglas. These are both like south of Denver. Obviously, you guys probably know where Boulder is. El Paso County is Colorado Springs. And I mentioned you guys 80916. 80916 is a key county right now. I just mentioned that earlier. So here it tells where the market, so it's giving me a market report. So what I can do too is I'll try to like I'll just try to copy and paste this tomorrow, and I'll ask RCIC how to give me a prompt. All of you can run and just input your county and zip code of your state. So I'll try to generate a prompt for you guys tomorrow. Matter of fact, maybe I'll even try to do it today while I'm on here, and then I'll just send it to you guys, where you guys can enter a prompt that'll give you the same report in a certain amount of counties. So it obviously tells me what's going on in Southwest Denver in these two zip codes, what evictions are doing. It tells me what foreclosures are doing. It's actually it gives me a lot of good information. Now here's those off ramps. Those are Arapahoe County. Aurora is in the same system. Aurora, Colorado splits Arapahoe County and Adams County. Adams is on the north. That's where like the airport is and all that. You were in Adams County a couple weeks ago, Brandon. So Denver, obviously Lakewood is in Jefferson County. So obviously Jefferson County trustee. Golden, Jefferson County, obviously home of Coors, and Colorado Springs. We get back to Aurora. Here's Denver probate driven equity, a lot of it, multi-county urban claims. It gives me a strategic read. So real quick, I'm going to see if it'll let me copy it, because I've had sometimes some issues, and you guys can see this. It gives me a lot of reports. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to generate a prompt for you guys. 6 seconds to go, make sure I get through. I can start where I need to. Let's see if it'll let me do it. A couple of weeks ago, I wasn't able to do. Okay, cool. A couple of weeks I wasn't able to actually copy and paste this way with a couple of these reports. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and see if it'll let me do it. There you go. And I'm going to come back up here and new project. Operator prompt for reports. So I'm building you guys something right now on the spot. Give me 1 second while it populates. There you go. Can you generate a prompt where that is plug and play with their counties and zip codes to get the same report as I get. Example. I'll send this to you guys out as soon as the Zoom is processed tonight. So there you go. So I'll give this to you, everybody that's on tonight. Like tonight, I'll send this over to you guys. So this is gonna generate you guys a report. Okay, let me go ahead and ask this. Let's see if I can generate copy. Can you save this as a PDF? I can some. Then let's see if I'm going to do with this. Yes, and both, and yes on both. So I'm building you guys something right live tonight. This will help you guys out. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, guys. You can get all the reports, and it'll give you the off ramps and on ramps, and then you can go take all that information and just build it into your projects. The more information you guys can feed it, especially now in the first 30 days. I know some of you have had it longer. You're just getting used to it. I know a few people are. You guys can just start propping this, pumping this stuff right into it. The more you feed it, the better. So anything you do it with projects and do input, and ask for, you can even set up a document input, project. You guys see it here, it's talking to itself. Sometimes watch it, because sometimes it actually gets in arguments with itself. It's actually pretty funny sometimes when it's like, it starts arguing like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, no, I can't do that. So it actually does think. You guys can see these. It's thinking pretty good. And then I'm going to show you guys something cool. And then I'm going to go over what we're going to do tomorrow night. Because tomorrow night I may build an analyzer in Claude. And I'm going to give you guys an update on everything that's going on there. And then there's a couple people on here I want to introduce, because I know some of you guys have been on a few together. So let me go ahead and see if he's still on there. Oh, I think he left. That's Michael. Yeah, I guess he jumped off. I was going to try to have Michael talk to you guys. Michael Conklin. If you guys really ever want to talk a lot of money stuff and capital, Michael Conklin's been in our group for about almost 4 years. And he's just now started to use the AI, just like all of you guys. So he's a really good resource, and I'll try to connect you guys. Anybody who wants to talk to Michael. He was just on, so sometimes people just get knocked off, and they try to get back on. So anybody else that wants a one-on-one, I know several of you, and everybody can do one. Let me know. I can. Friday I have room about 12:30 my time, and I can do one a couple days a week. Just give me a heads up. If you guys are more interested, I can even do like 3 or 4 people on it, just to get everybody, because a lot of you guys are at the same point. And I want to, that way I can kind of maybe, but also on a one-on-one, be prepared to share screen. And that way I can see where you're at, and I can sit there and, kind of help you plug stuff in. But I'm going to send everybody this prompt that's on the group tonight. And I kind of now have a kind of a thing when people are on the Zoom, I prioritize them. I'll give it to the whole group, but I'll probably won't put it in there until like the weekend. But I'll get you guys this prompt tonight or first thing in the morning when I do the video. So that way you guys have priority. So yeah, go pump this prompt in next time you get a chance. So it takes a minute to do this. That's why there's a little delay. So while it's doing it, let me kind of update you guys. So you guys see that pretty much GPT is all a lot of text, right? And one of the things I wanted to build, I still wanted to kind of evolve and build more of a website for everybody. And GPT is not really good at that. And you guys probably see it. Sometimes it just wants me to use third-party apps. Oh, do this. It'll suggest things. And I started wanting to learn about Claude anyway. Also, guys, remember, if you guys ever get it, just real quick, I'm sorry to kind of just, if you guys ever get a thing like a PDF or something to click on to download, don't just jump on it as it's like new. Give it like 5-10 seconds. Otherwise, it'll tell you it expired. It didn't expire. It just hasn't fully loaded. When it's here and it says that it's downloaded, so I'll send you guys the PDF, and then tonight. So getting back to that, I started playing with Claude a little bit, and I this I have about 1,500 hours. That includes a lot of the Zooms I've done with you guys. I pumped all that information in, so 1,500 hours, compressed it in about 20 hours. And we're ready now. It's fully operational. We put in payment and everything for everybody else. So you guys have it, like I said, 100% free. There are all the analyzers. Real quick, let me stop share because I want to show you guys this. So this is actually, if you guys are able to see this, this is actually one of the analyzers this is self-storage. There will be about a dozen or so analyzers. So you guys can go see, you got a unit mix. This is self-storage. You got acquisition, revenue for 10 years, expenses for 10 years, NOI summary, returns, value add, summary. So you've got a ton of these, like, these are inner deal data. A lot of these are independent where people can actually use them offline, meaning you don't need to go through Claude or the AI. There's a couple of the things that people will have to, connect with Claude. That does mean another subscription is like $20 a month, the same as GPT. But if anybody doesn't want to do that, you can still use all the analyzers and all the parts of it that I'm showing you now, like the self-storage. You can use them offline, just like any other analyzer. So these are fully functional. By Sunday, they will be fully interactive, so you'll be able to use them offline. If anybody wants to, like tomorrow night, I'm going to build one of these live. So anybody's interested, that's what we're doing. It's pretty cool. It's very different than what GPT is. We're keeping GPT. It's still our baby. All of you guys are building it, and everything. So that's the primary. But if you guys want to take advantage of it, like I said, you can have all the analyzers. They'll all work offline. If you do want to do the other GPT, then I have to give a link, just like with the Bitly link for GPT. And then you do have to sign up with Claude, which is $20 a month. So I'm trying to say that the total spend would be $40 a month, and you'd have both covered. The beauty of the Claude is it's all these everything that's built in Claude is basically it's kind of like taking everything from the GPT, and it's putting in these kind of there's actually like screens and places of entry. So it's kind of cool that way. I recommend, like I said, you guys can do what you want to do. It's obviously you guys get everything free. I just can't cover the Claude portion. Anybody got any questions on that?
What when you say that you could either just use the free version or the $20 subscribe to Claude, what's the difference in the functionality? Because you said all the calculators and analyzers are available for free, but what does the $20 get you?
Well, on the $20, it goes to obviously to Claude, just like $20 goes to OpenAI here. Doesn't go to me. In the Claude.
No, not you personally. I mean, get us as far as functionality on your
people cannot use. There's a deal analyzer that's pretty sophisticated. It's really takes everything up to a new level. That you have to talk to the AI. So you have to talk to it. These analyzers that are offline, you can actually generate PDFs. You can actually generate the information. It's pretty cool, and I'll show you guys how to use that. But yeah, you have in Capital Passport, just like with GPT, you have to talk to the AI to do it because it goes through all the questions. So there's a part that looks like what I just showed you, and there's another part that's similar to GPT where there's like fill in, you ask it questions and ask you things back. You have to have it for that. And then there's also for the lead, like the foreclosures and the AHJ stuff in Claude, which is also agents. So think about like you go from 40 agents in GPT, and now you add the ones, believe it or not, from Claude. Claude and GPT are open, GPT have a different take because of the companies. Anthropic runs Claude. You guys have OpenAI. OpenAI runs GPT. OpenAI does not like the word scraping or scraper. Most of the people know that's where a lot of information comes for like pre-foreclosures and mortgage rates. So it's hard to get those in GPT, where in Anthropic has no problem with it. So it really is just you kind of take everything. I'm kind of comparing it to like GPT is the workstation. It's do all the work. You guys can do everything, generate everything. You can run deals. You can do all the numbers. It's awesome. You have all 7 GPTs. Claude is kind of like really basically being able to take these, it's pretty cool. You can actually take a lot of this information, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's hard for me to kind of figure out what a term is, let me see real quick. Let me see if I can pull up sometimes I have to go and find out where I can go to my internet at in here. There's a screen. Let me see real quick if I can get there. If I can get there, I'll show you guys because you guys have all been on the website probably. Let me see if I can get to my internet. So RCIC systems, let me go ahead and because you guys are 100% free, but I'll explain it to you guys because there's also just so you guys can know it. This is actually the website that we built, and over the weekend, a lot of these will be coming. I'm gonna try to see where I can move this where it won't be in the way. You guys know I did like ask Kevin, I did over 300 Zooms before I realized I could move that. So you guys can see, here's all the features of it. You know, you got AHJ intelligence. So for that, and we have Light Pro and Lifetime. You guys obviously have Lifetime still, but just so anybody wants to know if they're outside the group and they ask you, the AHJ intelligence is just the same like we're talking about. Then you got Deal Analyst and Capital Passport. These three, and then transaction coordination. Most people here aren't TCs. These four cannot really be done offline. Whereas buyers and sellers is like a CRM. You can do all the rehab and scope of work. You won't be able to do like connecting to local live process or deal analyst. So it's kind of cool. And then you guys can go and here's all the, the different features, which like I said, you guys are Lifetime. So you guys get everything that's here still. You get and everybody gets the RCIC Core 6 GPT suite that's in Lifetime. So they won't get it if they're in Pro. They won't get what you guys have. You guys always had an advantage. You see this. They got to pay $3,500 to get Lifetime, like you guys had it for $399, and that gives them the GPT and all the future tools and updates. They don't get that. So with the light version, they get AHJ intelligence. They get deal analyst in the form of these calculators. They get and then buyers and sellers. They don't get skip tracing, rehab, scope of work, capital passport, transaction coordination, or the GPTs. So that's kind of the difference there. And there's obviously, so I mean, you guys can read this on your own. I've posted it a few times on Facebook. It's kind of cool that way. Let me go back to Facebook. Let me try to see if I can bring up the other one. Let's see if I can bring it up in Facebook where I posted it earlier. So I can get it. I was having problems with this is one of the apps. So you guys see these I was testing it. When it goes live as interactive apps right now, you can have it the offline app. It'll actually be fully interactive. It'll have a different name. So let me go ahead and pull up the document that I was looking for. Oh, here you go. So it'll come up. So this is just similar, but let me. I'm gonna have to stop sharing and come back into it again. So go ahead and. So this is the guide, and that we put I put this together in 17 minutes from the time I asked for it to the time it was ready. So got the vision, we got the highway, the how-to tips, and how to join it. So we're using that 7 stops, 1 destination. We talk about the interstate highway, the off ramps and off ramps. So it gets through the AHJ to deal analyst to buyers and sellers to skip trace, rehab, scope of work, capital passport, transaction coordination, the 7 stops. So here you guys go. These are the different. We just talked about that. Skip trace, capital passport, rehab, scope of work, transaction coordination. Then they got deal in, decision out. So it's the same thing. It walks everybody through that process. And it goes start with AHJ intelligence. This is where you're going to go. This catches deal killers before you enter contract. It's going to check, it's going to find foreclosures. It's going to go through all that. And then it's also going to look at zoning, permit history, entitlement risk, and code constraints. It's actually going to do a lot more searching than the GPT is. Run deal analysis. You guys all have chain 13. That's the prompts that are in the RCI. That's one I just sent you earlier, Kevin. Today was the chain 13 prompts. And then you got, if advanced, then you run rehab scope of work. Then you take the deal to capital passport. And then if it's under contract, move to transaction coordination. We've also got buyers and sellers, skip trace, and your pipeline. So people will be able to input if they're buyers and sellers, and we'll be able to build that database. The good thing is all these properties, what I'm able to refocus on between our company account, which is what you guys see me work on, and my personal account, and then what I get with Claude we'll be generating hundreds, if not thousands, of AHJ, of opportunities that you guys can actually get access to. And if people outside the group want that, we will, you guys want to, they'll get a first pass on like all the analysis, all the tools. If anybody outside the group wants them, then we'll actually provide them to them for a cost, and we'll split it with the people in the group that are, basically in RC that are already here, you guys. So basically, we're setting that up with exchange where people can actually make money on the, if we start selling off what, if there's 20 properties and you can only move on 2 of them, where do those 18 go? Instead of throwing away or not using it and put them in the exchange process, and we can monetize them. We'll be able to put it in RCIC in the cloud version and have it run a first pass. Literally has their opened. There's a process where they can be open. It can go in there when you add a property. Every time you add a property, you can add it through CSV or Excel. You can add it manually. When you put the CSV or Excel or manual entry, you can actually push a button there when you're adding for buyers and sellers and adding the properties. You can actually have a first pass run with all the tools. So it's pretty sick. Tomorrow night on the session, I'm actually going to build something in Claude to show you guys. There's a couple more things I have to build. So that's kind of it in a nutshell of what the differences are. So you guys, the only decision you guys have to make is if you guys want to get those capital passport there. You have it all in GPT, but if you take all the calculators and all that stuff, those will help. You can use them offline, and you can actually, as many, all of them if you want. There's 15 total tools that you guys can use. It just depends on those other 3. I can't really control that with having, you have to talk to the AI. You have to talk to the system in order for those capital passport, the deal analyzer, and the HJ intelligence to work. If anybody has any questions, if not, let me know. I see a question, hand up. Let me see who's got one. So is anybody? Oh, Amanda. Hey, what's going on?
So, remember when I had asked you, if I have people subcontracting for me, et cetera, or partners I work with?
Yeah.
I just wanted to, what I really like is with this sign in, I can change the password, right? Once I gave them access to the GPTs, they had them. And I wasn't really necessarily comfortable with that, right? But it looks like because I'm a lifetime member, they log in, they can actually get access to it. Is there any way to toggle that on or off for?
Yeah, I can. I mean, there's a way I can do it pretty quick. I can get it done.
I just don't want to dilute what this does for us. And once someone has the GPTs, right? If I give it to a subcontractor and then they leave me 3 months later, I don't really want them still having access to what I feel like is a very powerful program.
So there's a couple, and unfortunately, I mean, you're talking about the GPTs. That's a different story. The Claude, I can do that. With GPTs, the only way to do that is you set them up to work in your workspace. And unfortunately, they have a seat. I don't care, if anybody here, you got 2 or 3 partners, you want to give them the Bitly or whatever. If those are people you actually work with, like your actual business partners. If you're like VAs or people working for you, contractors, the best way for you to protect yourself is you have to get the seats through the workspace. And then you have to upgrade your account. It's $25 a person, minimum of 2. And I have that because I have Jesse in mine. So that's the only way to do it, because once you lock them out, I mean, they can probably get access to what they're working on at the time. But once they leave you, you can lock them out, because you can remove them in just a toggle. But no, you can't. Yeah, there's no way to do that otherwise. Yeah, but I mean, in the Claude version, you can do that. You can limit, because Claude is actually fully gated through payment and everything. I mean, it literally, if somebody misses a payment, they'll get cut off. I can't do that with GPT, because people have asked for trials and stuff, and I'm like, as soon as I give somebody the link, they have it forever.
Yeah, and that's the reason why, even though you told me I could share it with like people that were subcontracting for me, and it would be much easier for me not to have to, go in and do things in there. I was just like, I want to kind of see how they work out before I give them the ability to be able to scrape stuff, right? And
Yeah.
scrape lists and stuff like that. I was more just like not really wanting to hire and train competitors, essentially,
Well, as we, obviously we've been talking about my competitor that you brought my attention to.
Yeah.
There's I see it every day and telling everybody it's on the Zoom right now. Almost every day I'm seeing people and even people who were bad mouthing AI 3 months ago, 6 months ago, are now embracing it because they see that everybody else is doing it and they better do it.
They've
So
they've
even
hopped on the bandwagon. Yeah.
yeah, they're starting out, and that's what we just had. Like Deal Machine just did one and showed that he's got AI and all this stuff. They don't go through everything. I think only we're the only one that has like Capital Passport, like lenders and all that stuff, all tied to the same thing, so people can just go through a flow. They don't have to go and bounce around because that's what I wanted. I literally collect, with all my collection, my database, my library, everything is covered. But what we're seeing is like, and I got 2 or 3 people that have hit me up, and like by the second 2 or 3 questions going back and forth on Messenger or whatever, I suddenly realized that they're trying to build something. And almost every group I see in Reddit or even some of these Facebook, it isn't happening as much in the real estate groups because those are mostly pretty much like Jim's group and a few other ones are pretty well regulated as far as spamming and promotion. But these AI groups are ridiculous. And like even Jonathan was telling people, like, hey, this is a good opportunity to go build a deal analyzer for real estate investors. And his buddy Clay has the real estate AI group or whatever. And that's something they're telling all these people that are not real estate people. They have no background in it, but they're just building and they want to build something. And they're looking at this as an ATM. And I'm
Yeah.
like, like I said, my whole background since 2017 has been private money broker, real estate. I built the AI stuff. I mean, everybody, obviously Kevin's on, he can tell you the story all the way back to 2019 when he met me. Yeah, I literally, every step we've had has been an evolution, moving through changes like COVID. We had Blue Sky going on. We were building a fund, things like that. How to recover from that after COVID, how to recover once we got lenders in place. Once I started, talking about, RCIC, I mean, just started I wasn't even going to build it. I was going to consolidate everything to build websites to put all that. Cause you guys have ever seen my library. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I still only have I've inputted probably the equivalent to 12,000 pages into RCIC and all the databases totaling 19,000 contacts. That's only scratching the surface, actually, of what I'm just trying to put in what everybody needs and all that stuff. So I feel like, in order though to go to the level we want to go to, because I want you guys to go to that level as well. Everybody's in it is I have to do something like this, like getting it out for doing Claude, because AI is not GPT is like a lot of people are like, I don't know, it's like it's hard to show something. If I can build a website, GPT won't build the website like that, like sophisticated, and it's not gonna be a true website. It's a different thing altogether, but at least it's visual and people can picture like what I just showed you guys with the self-storage analyzer. At least people can go visualize things, and it's not so much text, but it also gives people both ways. They can go either way. I'm still going to support both of them. It doesn't, I'm going to do like one Zoom a week for the Claude version or one Zoom a week for the GPT starting in May. I'm trying to see if, so like I said, you go to the Claude version. I mean, it built this in 17 minutes and it mirrors the website. So it was kind of cool that I was able to do that. I'm trying to get back to my. So like you guys go back and see all this, that's pretty cool. I mean, so like I said, we're still keeping it. It's still cool. This is still my baby, and it's always going to be that because I had 2 people ask me. So you guys never have to worry about it. If you just stick with this, but if you want the analyzers, it's cool. I mean, you can use them, and then you don't have to use the other, unless you want to. I admitted it's another subscription, but it's like 20 and 20, so it's 40, and you'll have zero spend. And actually, I think honestly, you can, if you use both of them, it's going to make you a lot more powerful because Claude will do some things, like I said, that OpenAI won't let GPT do, like scraping and stuff. So it's just like I said, it's just what you guys decide you want to do. I mean, it's awesome. I think it's really great what everything's going on. Let me see if I've got. I'm trying to get back to my. There you go. Here's the right group, the right prompt. So this is real quick. We're going to close with, and I've mentioned this before. And if anyone wants to get with me over there, like tomorrow night, I'll show actually building something in Clyde. Anybody wants to do the, and it's for you guys that are building it. So I'll put out tomorrow a couple of things that I still got to build by Sunday. It is live to sign up for it. People get those 3 parts that they have to connect with the AHJ. The analyzers are going fully interactive, so they'll get them and they'll be all ready Sunday. And I'll give them all to you guys anytime you want them. If you guys just want to, if you want them, then they're yours. Tell me, if you want all of them, if you just want to, if you're doing specific things like you're doing storage, you want the storage analyzer, just let me know. That's on you guys can have them, use them, and I'll show you how to plug them in. And if you guys want to focus on GPT until yours is fully predictive and all that too, that's cool. It's not going anywhere. So we're talking about predictive intelligence. This is what we'll close with before I do the YouTube stuff. Predictive intelligence in the RCIC context is not about guessing. It's systematically identifying probability before visibility. So everybody focuses on reactive intelligence. You see the deals when they're already obvious. They're on market. They're picked over. Compressed margins. The list sellers have them. Deal machine, prop stream, prop wire, prop wash. I called it prop wash one day. Somebody thought it was funny. There's just a mistake. Like, hey, prop wash. Predictive intelligence flips that. It's the discipline of reading early signals, pattern shifts, and behavioral indicators that precede deal emergence. You guys have already seen that. You saw that in the report that I showed you, and I'm going to send you that prompt so you guys can generate that. It's giving me a lot of predictive stuff for those counties in Colorado. You guys put that prompt in. You guys that'll help you get that same report. It'll help you go predictive. Predictive is what you want because you're going to beat everybody else to a lot of deals. Predictive intelligence. Predictive intelligence is the structured use of market data, behavioral patterns, distress indicators, timing signals to identify where deals will occur before they formally exist in the markets. Where is the deal going to be, not where it is already. What it actually looks like in practice. Properties are sitting just outside the days on market thresholds before price cuts. Owners with equity plus fatigue signals. Zip codes showing early liquidity slowdowns. Repeated listing churn, pre-foreclosure timelines before public competition spikes. So it's pattern recognition. It's going to tell you why 80916 it was highlighted in Colorado Springs instead of 80917. And I got those backwards when I first told you about it. 80916 is the older area. I mean, is the area where there's a lot of tract homes and stuff. 80917 is the older area where a lot of people have equity and a lot of homes are paid off. How operators benefit first mover advantage. You're not competing with 20 investors. You're not getting a list that 100 people are getting. You're often early or alone. That's awesome. Margin expands immediately. You got cleaner deal structures. You can be early. It's flexible sellers. Then you generally have 90 to 120 days to work out a deal. And you've got the mortgage company information. You got the mortgage company's attorney. You can make a lot of those attorneys specializes in foreclosures. If you use those, if you go to these filings like I showed you, and you start making contact with these attorneys, you find out that they do a lot of evictions, a lot of mortgages, or they're working for these mortgage companies so you could develop relationships with them. Guess what? They're going to bring you some deals if they know you can take care of their mortgage company client. Cleaner deal structure, reduced acquisition cost. Reactive operators pay retail effort, more marketing spend. You guys have almost no marketing spend once you get this ramped up. More outreach volume, lower conversion rates. The predictive operators narrow the field, targeted outreach, higher signal, lower noise, better ROI per action. Consistent deal flow. Most investors ride waves, feast or famine. Predictive intelligence builds pipeline continuity, repeatable sourcing, controlled inflow of properties. It becomes a system, not luck. Alignment with capital. You're not chasing random deals. You identify deals with that. Match your buy box. Fit your capital profile. Move efficiently to close. This is where most people bleed time. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and let me talk while I write this. tomorrow night we're gonna build. What do you guys want to build? We could do multifamily with syndication, multifamily without syndication. We can do residential assisted living, or land. Those are four that we could probably get done tomorrow because in the morning I'll have STRs done and RV parks. I've already got mobile home parks and self storage, like you saw, single family flips and single family rentals. So, is there one that you guys would like to do out of that first set I mentioned, where I can save it for tomorrow night and we can build it together? It might be a cool way to learn it. So, if anybody wants to chime in, let me know if you guys got any ideas you guys want me through. Let me try to get you guys all unmute. So yeah, let me know what you guys thinking about. I mean, we could do a multifamily or assisted living is cool because you got to build two components. You got to do the real estate and you got to do and then you got to do the care plan, which includes ADA, billing for Medicare, Medicaid, VA, self-pay, insurance, things like that. That's in that analyzer. Well, if you guys just want me to choose it, we could do a multifamily, since a lot of you are going to probably do multifamily at some point. I'll have the video out in the morning and I will get you guys that PDF. For everybody that's on it, I will have that to you in the next 10 minutes after we.
I like LaDon's suggestion about land, especially land that will specifically like target places you can put manufactured homes and do land home packages.
Yeah.
Because those are really good flips. Stuff that you can
get into that, and we can also add data centers for land because that's a big thing right now. So we can do
and that's something that I do. The only thing I'll just one of the reasons I haven't really focused on land is land is not as fast to close. And a lot of times someone that I know, I think you might know him. I know Eric knows him, Fred Hogue. He will tell you like only 30% of land contracts actually close, right? Yeah. Where it's considerably more when a house gets put under contract. I think it's closer to like 60 to 70. So that's the only reason. But while multifamily is interesting to me, I'm a builder's daughter. And in New Mexico especially, like for example, the 3.4 acres I bought in a $600,000 neighborhood, if I put a manufactured home because I bought unrestricted land, I would easily probably make $250,000 putting a manufactured home on that property. You are? I just.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you're actually in New Mexico. I forgot you told me that. Yeah, have you guys actually talked? I think I tried to connect you on Messenger.
I never got any kind of connection.
Okay.
You did tell me that, but I never saw the connection. So I thought I thought you forgot, and then I forgot, quite frankly.
I'm going to connect you with Don and Tanya and Doris.
Okay, great.
So Doris is on too tonight. So let me just say hi to everybody before, because I know we normally let people run through, but we've got a lot going on. So I know Doris is here, Brandon, Kevin, Don, Amanda, all of you guys are here, Curtis. Everybody's Kevin. Is Kevin Knapp still here? He was here.
Yeah, Don, I bought in Sandia Park.
Let me try to unmute you so you can actually talk. Yeah, there you go. You can unmute yourself.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was born in Albuquerque.
I'm on grid right now in Albuquerque because I sold my homes in Colorado, and when I sold my last home, I bought a tiny home, and so about 15 months ago, well, it started actually 27 months ago. I had seen this land, this 3.4 acres in Sandia Park. It was listed for like 90 grand. And I'd originally called because I was like, okay, well, I'll just develop that. And I reached out to the realtor at the time, and I hadn't really, I was cash poor. I mean, I had some cash. I said, well, would you guys do a land contract? And they wouldn't. And this was January of 2024. And then I kept watching that piece of property. I kept watching that piece of property, and it consistently went from 90,000 all the way down to 59.9. Long